I wanted to do a essential movie list I think every person should watch in regards to World War II, and particularly the war in Europe. Probably do a whole separate one on the Pacific Theater. But, it's just, in my opinion, so essential to understand this period of time in history. You could spend a lifetime studying it. I think I did my first report on World War II, and I was still in elementary school. So it's always been a lifelong passion for me. And obviously, it's not for everybody, but I think everybody should know and understand how this group of people, the Nazis, were able to lead so many people to their destruction. They convinced people to go to the slaughter, and they convinced people to be the slaughterers. And some of these people were natural psychopaths. The inner circle of the Nazi party was this group of megalomaniacs, people power hungry, people who are opportunists, who love the opportunity to do what they did. And a lot of people, especially the youth who grew up in the early part of the Third Reich in the 1930s, that were caught up in the Hitler youth. Young minds are so malleable, and so it's just really important to understand how this happened and to not let it happen again. So I put together, I think, a list of what I believe is essential films that everyone should watch. And after the video, if there's other movies you like, let me know what you think your essential list might be, or if you thought you might add or swap out a movie. The first one, I'm going to discuss each film, show a trailer, and then move to the next one. Each one of these movies could be its own video and discussion, but I just want to cover each one briefly and then encourage you to go watch them. So the first one is called Munich, Edge of War. It's a Netflix film, so if you don't have Netflix, you probably won't be able to watch it, but this movie covers the events leading up to the war and how France and Britain were so desperate to reach an agreement with Hitler, particularly Neville Chamberlain. He really believed he could prevent war with Germany, and that's how this appeasement took place, where Hitler, was grabbing up territory like Czechoslovakia, the Sudetenland, and so forth, which eventually emboldened him to take on Poland because he thought France and Britain were too weak to take him on. And Chamberlain, just having been through World War I, just so desperately did not want to see his country go through that again. He was noble, if misguided. So this movie gives you a real insight into those events and what was leading up to the eventual war. So it's a kind of edge of your seat. There's some spying, that goes on. So I recommend that. We'll move to the trailer.
We were at Oxford together. He has a document in his possession. We'd like you to go to Munich tomorrow and get the document.
It'll be an act of espionage on foreign soil.
Men and women of Britain and the Empire. As long as war is not begun, there is always hope.
Really good to see you again. Was willst du von mir? Wir sind die letzte Hoffnung, um Hitler zu stoppen.
Ist ein wahrer Plan für Europa.
Hitler is lying when he claims to want peace. People will suffer. That document is the proof.
Wohin wollen Sie? could kill you for even thinking about it.
Kom Sie her.
Was ist hier los?
Okay, so now if you've watched the trailer there for Munich Edge of War, hopefully you're intrigued to go watch it. It's not the most exciting World War II movie out there, but it is good. It's worth a watch. It's just not top of my list. These aren't listed in order of what I think is the best. I kind of almost put them in chronological order of how I think you should watch them. So, movie number 2, one of Spielberg's probably best films. I mean, he's done a lot of great movies, but this is a true masterpiece, especially on this subject matter, and that would be Schindler's List. And this follows a true story of Oskar Schindler, who was a German entrepreneur, and he saved roughly 1,200 Jews from going to the camps. He had, the Germans used slave labor. A lot of Jews weren't just sent directly to extermination camps. A lot of them were forced to work in German industry to support the war effort. And Schindler had factories where he employed this German slave labor, but he used his position as a businessman to keep these people from being exterminated in the camps, and he ended up spending almost all of his personal wealth to bribe the SS and to keep these people from being executed. And after the war, he never really was a successful businessman again. He tried several businesses, but really the support of the people that he saved is what kind of helped him through the rest of his life. But young Liam Neeson in this film, great movie, a great soundtrack by John Williams, and it's an intense movie. It's all filmed in black and white, and it's a must watch. So Schindler's List.
I'd make sure it's known the company's in business. I'd see that it had a certain panache. That's what I'm good at. Not the work, not the work. The presentation. Kielbasa sausage, cheeses, beluga caviar. And of course, who could live without German cigarettes? Get me as many as you can find. And some more fresh fruit. The real rarities, oranges, lemons, pineapples. I need several boxes of Cuban cigars, the best. And dark unsweetened chocolate, not in the shape of ladyfingers. A chunk chocolate, big as my hand. You sample at wine tastings. 900, no, make it 10 for Wednesday. And all this stuff here goes to Madras's factory. I lost a worker. I expect to be compensated.
He's on the list.
He is? Well, let's find him.
Stern! 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 Itzhak, Stern!
Stop the train! He's here! Stop the train!
Stop the train!
I woke up from a dream this morning. I was broke and sharing a room with 12 people I didn't know.
Who will want to start, huh? Do you have any questions, sir?
Yeah, well, it's top down. I'm fucking freezing.
What's your name?
Helen Hirsch.
Your cartoon! Deine Papiere, Jude! Deine Papiere, Jude!
So before we go to the next movie, I'll say that if you watch that trailer to Schindler's List, you can tell what a powerful film that is. And I think the trailer alone speaks to why everyone should watch it. So, with that said, we're on to the next movie. Next movie on my list I'm going to recommend is more. It's actually a mini-series. There's 2 mini-series on this list. First one's going to be Band of Brothers. Once again, Steven Spielberg along with Tom Hanks made this mini-series. Follows the Easy Company 506 Parachute Infantry Regiment, World War II, from their time in basic training all the way through the end of the war when they liberate a concentration camp. And if you watch the episode and aren't upset, I mean that it's really, that last episode's very hard to watch, but it shows the perspective, I think, of the United States and the Allies in general and their fight through to liberate Europe. And it's just it's a must watch. I mean, once again, award-winning miniseries. I put this above Saving Private Ryan is great, but this being a miniseries, it really shows that whole experience from the beginning through to the end of the war. Like I said, ending with that liberation of a concentration camp. And, it's based off actual interviews. Each episode starts with an interview of the men the movie is about, and I really like that. It gives you real insight. And so, once again, this is on my must-watch list.
It's been 2 years since I seen home. 2 years. It's fucking war.
At 0600 hours, we will begin training to go to war.
This is not Dog Company. This is Easy Company. The first and finest company in this regiment.
Each trooper will learn this operation by heart and know his mission to the detail.
We're invading Europe, my friend.
All you have to do is remember what you were taught. I guarantee you gravity will take care of the rest.
We are on the eve of the largest action in the history of warfare.
It's Normandy. We all do our jobs. Everything will be fine.
I'm scared.
We're all scared.
What made you decide to join the paratroopers? Fire!
I wanted to fight with the best, sir.
Tonight, we're gonna have to cross the river.
Those crowds are gonna catch some hell.
We're gonna have to find another way into Germany.
Easy will head up the mountain through the Obersalzberg. Take the Eagle's Nest.
Man, it's been a long war. It's been a tough war. You fought bravely, proudly for your country. We're a special group. We found in one another a bond that exists only in combat.
Next film you're going to see a trailer for here is called Generation War, and it has been called, you'll see it in the trailer, it's the German Band of Brothers, and I really like this because it shows the perspective of the war through 5 young Germans. These are kids that are, they're caught up into the war in their own ways. I think 2 of them are Jewish, so you'll see where that goes. Young men, that have to get drafted to go fight on the Eastern Front, and the young ladies who become nurses, and you can see the different mindsets. Some of them are caught up in the propaganda of the war, of the Nazi party. The Hitler had such charisma that he was really able to just sway people and truly get them to believe what he was trying to do. And this shows that from the German perspective, and it's definitely a must-watch. So that's Generation War.
Wir waren 5 Freunde. Wir waren jung und wir wussten, dass uns die Zukunft gehören würde.
Spätestens Weihnachten ist der Krieg vorbei.
Ja,
Weihnachten in Berlin.
Weihnachten in Berlin.
Weihnachten in Berlin.
Wie sehe ich aus? Wie ein Filmstar.
Ich habe Deutschland immer gut und treu gedient.
Sie wissen, warum wir hier sind.
Sind hier, um Dienst am deutschen Soldaten und damit am Vaterland zu leisten.
Der Krieg wird schon einen Mann aus ihm machen.
Auf den Endziel.
Wir führen einen Krieg. Das ist doch kein Krieg. Doch, ein neuer. Wir sollten uns von der Welt verabschieden, wie wir sie kennen.
Die Juden werden nach Osten geschickt. Es sind keine Deutschen mehr. Nicht für sie.
Ist nicht merkwürdig, dass Züge vollfahren los und immer zurückkommen leer.
Wenn ich beruhigt bin, werde ich schon dafür sorgen, dass dir nichts passiert.
Spätestens Weihnachten ist der Krieg vorbei, hast du gesagt.
Jetzt lass nur aus. Nichts ist so, wie wir gedacht haben, Greta.
Glaub mir, der Krieg wird nur das Schlechteste in uns zum Vorschein bringen.
Macht doch keinen Sinn! Es gibt keinen Sinn! Gott hat uns verlassen!
Wir waren unsterblich. Wir sollten es bald besser wissen.
Hast du dein Foto noch?
Ja, klar.
Next film on my list is called Valkyrie, based off Operation Valkyrie. Now, I really like this movie. True story about the 23rd July plotters, and this is a great story to research more into. But this is about a group of German officers, both who are currently serving and some who are retired German officers from World War I, who wanted to stand up to Hitler in the Nazi Party. They did not believe in what the Nazis were doing, and they wanted to end the war and save Germany and Europe as a whole from further suffering and destruction. So they plotted to assassinate Hitler, and they were really led by a guy named Count. Tom Cruise's character was Count von Stauffenberg. I had like a moment there and I couldn't remember his name, or I thought I was going to mispronounce it, but yes, Count von Stauffenberg. Like I said, German aristocrat and Wehrmacht officer. So they were led by Tom Cruise's character in the film, and who was a Wehrmacht colonel who, and aristocrat. He was former, of the German royal family. Germany was made up of a lot of small royal families throughout its history, and those titles carried down even under the Nazis. And after World War I, that whole system was abolished. But you'll see Tom Cruise's character here as the leader of the group. He's a real man who led this incredibly brave plot to try to assassinate Hitler. It fails, and in the end, they are all assassinated. And in Berlin, you can see there is a memorial to them. But these men, they wanted the world to know that not all Germans were like Hitler, and that there were ones who were good and were trying to stand up to what the Nazis were doing. So it's a really incredible, true story. And I know not everyone likes Tom Cruise, but in this movie, it's definitely worth watching, even if you don't like him for the story. I think he does a good performance here, and so Valkyrie, highly recommend watching that as well.
Gentlemen, we can save Europe from total destruction.
We have to show the world
But not all of us will like him.
It is too great a risk. It doesn't change what we must do.
What did you have in mind?
You could serve Germany or the Fuhrer. Not both.
It's just that talk that had you sent here, Colonel.
What I said was much worse.
I'm a soldier. But in serving my country, I have betrayed my conscience.
We need to reorganize.
There has to be a chance of success.
That's why you're here.
Hitler's Germany has seen its last sunrise. Can I count you in?
Any problem on Earth can be solved with the careful application of high explosives. The trick is not to be around when they go off.
10 minutes. 1 for the checkpoint. 2 for the walk. 1 to the bunker, 6 to get out. Plenty of time.
But remember, nothing ever goes according to plan.
Operation Valkyrie is in effect.
If they catch you, they will pull you apart.
If I fail, I'll come for you. All of you.
I know.
Do you realize what you've done?
We've been discovered. Every second we stand here is a second lost.
If you want to live through the night, you'll do exactly as I say.
What makes you think you're stronger than the very momentum of history?
My Fuhrer, may I present Colonel Stauffenberg?
Valkyrie.
So the next 2 movies, or 3 movies actually, all take place really about the same time, April of 45 actually, and they really highlight in 3 different ways the true madness, if not the whole Nazi regime was madness, but as it got closer to the end, as it continued to unravel, it just became even more mad. And these 3 films show that in different ways. And the first one I recommend is Fury. I recommend this movie because Fury is probably the most unfiltered war movie I've seen. It's truly just raw. It's and it really, it's, you know, Band of Brothers is great, but Fury takes it to a whole other level. It's just, I think it does an excellent job just showing war for what it is. There's no glorification. It just shows these American tankers and what they went through, fighting their way through, from Africa through Europe, and now they're at the end of the war, and they're just trying. They know the war is coming to an end, and they're just trying to survive through that. And at the end of the war, Germany's crushed, but there was a lot of fanatics holding on till the very end. Even after the final surrender, there was still some fighting going on. And, that's what you see here. You see not only these fanatical SS that keep fighting, but you see how the Germans are being punished by the Nazi regime for surrendering. If people got caught putting out white flags, knowing the Allies were coming, the SS might come through and just hang them in the street as an example. If German troops got separated from their unit and were thought to be deserters, or even if they actually were deserters, they had these rolling kangaroo courts that would go around and just execute people on the spot. And it shows that as well. And it shows even the darker side of the Allies. A lot of these guys had lost friends, and at this point, they're just fed up. They're like, it's over, just give up. And you're still losing friends, and some of that anger comes out, and you see some revenge type things happening. So Fury is an excellent movie. It has its historical inaccuracies. The Tigers battle, you can pick that apart So I really recommend that movie for that reason. It does great. So.
Dying's not done. The killing's not done. I promised my crew a long time ago I'd keep them alive.
I was afraid you were dead. Where's the rest of 3rd Platoon? We're it.
Sergeant Collier, I'm your new assistant driver.
Tank school? That's home.
I've never even seen the inside of a tank.
You will. I started this war killing Germans in Africa. Now I'm killing Germans in Germany. Been with these fine gentlemen for years. These troops get by you. We're all dead in the water. All we got is you. I won't ask you to do anything I haven't done myself. Com check.
Photo check.
Brady check.
Bond check.
Bravo check.
Bar! All right! Hit that son of a bitch! Head out! Do your job! Do what you're here for!
Ideals are peaceful. History is violent.
Wait till you see it.
See what?
What a man can do to another man.
I'm scared.
I'm scared too.
It will end soon, but before it does, a lot more people gotta die.
Well, you know we do get $1.35 a day, right?
Best job I ever had.
Best job I ever had.
Best job I ever had.
They're coming.
How many?
300 of them. There's 5 against 300.
Well, you never run before. Why are we gonna run now?
We're still in this fight! Still in this fight! Now!
Next film we're going to talk about is, it's called Der Hauptmann, which is German for the captain. And this is based off a real guy named Willy Harold, or Willy Harold, German Willy, who is a German paratrooper corporal who was separated from his unit as they were retreating from Norway back to defend Germany at the end of the war. It's 1944-45. And he's trying to find his unit. Some say he was a deserter, but if you really read into him, this guy really still believed in the war at the time. But he was a bit of an egotistical person. Well, not a bit, he was. He always wanted to be a leader. So he finds a abandoned staff car that has a German Air Force Luftwaffe captain's uniform, and he dons this uniform and starts portraying himself as Captain Harold, and he starts picking up other wayward troops separated from his unit, and it makes this band of troops. And early on, and this takes place over a period of a few weeks in March, April 45. Early on, he's trying to lead attacks against the Allies. He thinks that he can make a difference still at this point, but eventually that's not working out. He gets frustrated, and eventually he commits several war crimes, executing German prisoners who are deserters and other people he encounters, thieves and so forth. And once again, this goes back to like what I was talking about Fury. It just shows this madness unraveling of the German state at the very end of the war. It's been said to be one of the best movies to come out of Germany in a long time. It's definitely an intense film, and it's really, it's based on a real story that you can watch. The only real criticism that I've heard is that they portray Willy Harold in the movie as almost being apprehensive about a lot of things, but in reality he was extremely confident. He was an overconfident individual, which is how he portrayed himself so well as a captain, even though he was just a lance corporal. So, like I said, all these movies you can read into more after you watch them if it so interests you. But like I said, The Captain, definitely worth a watch.
Freitag meldet sich zur Stelle, Herr Hauptmann. Bitte gehorsamst mich Herrn Hauptmann unterstellen zu dürfen.
Ich habe einen Auftrag zu erledigen, hier hinter der Front.
Sondereinsatz.
Vollmacht vom Führer selbst.
Waffen runter. Bei den ganzen Fahnenflüchtigen, da weiß man ja gar nicht mehr, wer da in der Uniform steckt.
Auf!
Wie war gleich der Name?
Herold. Hauptmann Willi Herold.
Leibgarde Herold, antreten!
Was ist eigentlich der Auftrag?
Mir Klarheit verschaffen von der Lage hinter der Front.
Darüber kann ich Ihnen Klarheit verschaffen.
Bei Plünderung als Ordnung machen.
Können die Gefangenen ja schon mal verhören.
Hast du gestohlen?
Geplündert?
Hast du nicht gehört, was der Hauptmann mich gefragt hat? Der Führer hat mich persönlich beauftragt, alle erforderlichen Maßnahmen zu ergreifen, wenn immer.
Eine große. Was immer einen durch die tote Zeit bringt.
Auf die Leibgarde Herold!
Auf die Kampfgruppe Herold!
Gemeinsam ist man stark.
And lastly, this, I think the best film to watch to end the series is called Downfall. And Downfall, another German film, so it is subtitled because the whole movie is in German, but I think it's still very much worth a watch. Follows the final week and a half, 2 weeks of the Third Reich in the war from Hitler's perspective in the bunker. And you can really see how he unraveled and just became increasingly unstable and deluded and delusional and kept wanting to keep the war going when there was no hope, and just prolong things longer until, you know, his eventual suicide. But when they made the movie, they you know, had personal accounts of his secretary who was there through the whole thing, obviously additional research. So, but it just shows this last desperate fight to hold back the Soviets in Berlin, and these young kids and the Hitler Youth and the Volkssturm, you know, trying to fight this last desperate stand that was completely futile. And so I really recommend Downfall as the kind of the way to really understand how the war ended in Europe. And certainly there's additional movies that you can add to this list, but I think that handful really kind of centralizes all of the important lessons that you can be learned from this period in history. And you know, I think that minimal list is everyone should watch. Certainly, if
Artillerie.
Das ist alles verloren. Im Norden steht der Russe kurz vor der Weidendamer Brücke. Im Osten am Lustgarten, im Westen im Tiergarten. 300 bis 400 Meter vor der Reichskanzlei.
Ich werde niemals kapitulieren. Eher jage ich mir eine Kugel durch den Kopf.
Der Führer hat jeglichen Sinn für die Realitäten verloren.
Ich flehe Sie an, verlassen Sie Berlin.
Wir können ihn doch nicht alle einfach so allein lassen.
Bei dem, was den Führer erwartet, braucht er niemanden.
Aber der Herr Goebbels und seine Frau bleiben doch da. Die Kinder ja auch. Aber die Kinder...
Ob du diesen Brief erhältst, weiß ich nicht. Unsere Idee geht zugrunde und mit ihr all das, was ich Schönes und Gutes in meinem Leben gekannt habe. Die Welt, die nach dem Nationalsozialismus kommt, ist nicht mehr wert, darin zu leben. Und deshalb habe ich auch die Kinder hierher mitgenommen.
Trink, trink!
Wir müssen raus aus Berlin, Eva. Du musst ihn überzeugen. Die Lebensmittelversorgung von Berlin wird zusammenbrechen.
Habt ihr denn noch immer nicht begriffen? Der Krieg ist verloren, es ist zu Ende!
Warum wollen Sie weiterleben?
Und Sie? Warum wollen Sie so unbedingt sterben?
Ich muss Ihnen sofort mein Testament diktieren.
Ich tippe gerade das Testament des Führers. Was soll denn jetzt werden mit uns?
Ich kann nicht mehr. Es kann jeden Tag und jede Stunde mit uns zu Ende sein. Der Führer selbst hat jeden Glauben an einen glücklichen Ausgang verloren. Deine Schwester.
Versuchen Sie noch rauszukommen. Versprechen Sie es mir.
Das Volk hat dieses Schicksal selbst gewählt. Jetzt wird Ihnen eben das Hälschen durchgeschnitten. Sie werden das saufen in Ihrem eigenen Blut! Morgen schon werden mich Millionen verfluchen. Aber das Schicksal wollte es nicht anders.